Right now, your brain might be shrinking and you don't even know it. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that people with chronically elevated cortisol, that's the stress hormone, showed significant shrinkage in the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and emotional control. We're talking about a 10 to 15% reduction in volume over time. That is not a small number. And here's what makes it worse. Most people walking around feeling anxious, unsafe, and unstable, they don't realize this feeling is not just in their head. It is literally in their nervous system. It is in their biology. Polyvagal theory, developed by neuroscientist Dr. Stephen Porges, proved that feelings of safety are not just emotions. They are measurable physiological states controlled by your autonomic nervous system. So today, we are going to fix this, step by step. I am going to show you exactly how to rewire your body and your mind to feel stable and safe, not in some fluffy motivational way, but using real science, real strategies, and real action. And by the end, you'll know something that 95% of people will never figure out on their own. Stay with me. Let's start with something most people get wrong. They think safety is about what's outside of them. They think it's about things like locking your front door at night, having a security camera on your porch, or making sure your neighborhood has good streetlights. But the science says something different. According to polyvagal theory, your nervous system has three main response states. The first is fight or flight, when your body senses danger and prepares to either fight back or run. The second is collapse or shutdown, when you feel so overwhelmed that your body just freezes, you go numb. And the third is the social engagement state. This is where you feel safe, you're relaxed, you're open, you can connect with people. Here is the key. These states shift based on how safe you feel inside your own body, not based on what's happening outside. Your nervous system is making these decisions without your permission, beneath your conscious awareness. Dr. Porges calls this process neuroception. And if your neuroception is broken, you could be sitting in the safest room in the world and still feel terrified. Think about that. Now let's talk about cortisol. This is the chemical that is quietly destroying the lives of millions of people. When you feel stressed, your body activates something called the HPA axis. That stands for hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. It's basically your brain's alarm system, and when it goes off, cortisol floods your body. In short bursts, cortisol is actually helpful. It's what helps you slam on your brakes when a child runs in front of your car, focus during a job interview, or sprint to catch a bus that's about to leave. But when cortisol stays high for weeks, months, or years, it becomes poison. Research from UC Berkeley found that chronic stress actually changes the structure of your brain. It decreases the number of neurons and increases a type of cell that disrupts normal brain communication. And here is what nobody tells you. A study on stress hormones in the brain showed that chronically high cortisol levels reduce the birth of new brain cells in the hippocampus, the region critical for learning, memory, and regulating emotions. So the more stressed you are, the less capable your brain becomes of managing that stress. It's a vicious cycle. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to break it. Here's something fascinating. You don't just have one brain. In a sense, you have three. And understanding this is the first real step to feeling stable and safe. Your thinking brain is your prefrontal cortex. This is the part you use when you're deciding whether to accept a new job offer, planning what you'll cook for dinner next week, or weighing whether it's smart to lend money to a friend who hasn't paid you back yet. Then there's your emotional brain, the limbic system, which includes the amygdala. This is your alarm bell. It reacts to everything that feels threatening. And then there's your survival brain, the brainstem. This handles basic functions like breathing, heart rate, and the fight or flight response. The problem is, most people are living from their emotional and survival brains. Their prefrontal cortex, the part that gives them control, is being overpowered. And later in this video, I'm going to show you a breathing technique that can shift your nervous system state in under 90 seconds. But first, you need to understand what's happening in your gut. Yes, your gut. This is going to blow your mind. Did you know that approximately 90 to 95% of your body's serotonin, the chemical that helps you feel calm, happy, and safe, is produced in your gut? Not in your brain, in your gut. A study published in Scientific Reports confirmed that cells called enterochromaffin cells in your digestive tract are responsible for making the vast majority of serotonin in your body. Now here's the connection. Your gut and your brain are constantly talking to each other through something called the gut-brain axis. This communication happens through the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your autonomic nervous system, which stretches from your brainstem all the way down to your colon. When your gut is unhealthy, the messages it sends to your brain are chaotic, and your brain interprets that chaos as danger. Research published in Frontiers in Endocrinology showed that gut bacteria can directly influence serotonin signaling in the brain. Certain beneficial bacteria even increase serotonin production in the hippocampus. So if you want to feel safe, you must take care of your gut. I'll give you the exact foods to eat later. But first, there's another silent destroyer we need to address. Let me ask you something. How many hours did you sleep last night? Be honest. Because if it was less than 7, your emotional brain is hijacking you right now. A landmark study by Yu and colleagues found that just one night of sleep deprivation triggers a 60% increase in amygdala reactivity to negative emotional images. 60%. That means everything feels more threatening, more upsetting, and more overwhelming when you haven't slept. And it gets worse. The same study showed that sleep deprivation breaks the connection between your prefrontal cortex and your amygdala. Remember, the prefrontal cortex is supposed to be the boss. It's supposed to calm the alarm bell down. But without sleep, the boss goes home, and the alarm bell just keeps ringing. A review published in PMC confirmed that sleep deprivation increases emotional reactivity, weakens impulse control, and makes people more vulnerable to stress. This is why you feel so unstable after a bad night of sleep. It's not weakness, it's neuroscience. And the solution is simpler than you think. I'll get to that. But now, let's talk about something even more overlooked. Your money. I know. Nobody wants to talk about this, but we have to. Because research from the American Psychological Association found that finances are the #1 cause of stress for most people. About 40% of people surveyed said money stressed them out more than work, the economy, and even violent crime. And the Financial Health Network reports that people with lower incomes are up to 3 times more likely to experience depression and anxiety. A study by the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute found that 46% of people with debt also have a mental health diagnosis. And 86% of people with both debt and mental health issues said the debt made their mental health worse. So here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. You cannot feel truly safe if your financial foundation is cracked. Your nervous system knows when there's no cushion. It knows when one unexpected car repair or medical bill could ruin everything. And that low-level background anxiety? That's cortisol, running through your veins every single day. But I'm going to give you a simple financial framework later that can change this. Keep watching. All right, now we start building. Step 1 is learning to regulate your nervous system, and the fastest tool you have is your breath. Why? Because breathing is the only autonomic function you can also control consciously. It's the bridge between your survival brain and your thinking brain. When you breathe in, you activate your sympathetic nervous system, the go system. When you breathe out, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the calm system. The vagus nerve is the key player here. Research on polyvagal theory confirms that stimulating the vagus nerve promotes feelings of calm, connection, and safety. So here's the technique. It's called the physiological sigh. Breathe in through your nose, a double inhale, 2 quick sniffs in, then 1 long, slow exhale through your mouth. Do this 3 times. What happens is, the double inhale maximally inflates the tiny air sacs in your lungs called alveoli, and the long exhale activates the vagus nerve powerfully. Your heart rate drops, cortisol decreases, and your prefrontal cortex comes back online. Try it right now. Seriously, pause this video and try it 3 times. Feel that? That is your nervous system resetting. Now, doing it once is nice, but it won't change your life. You need to make this a daily habit. Here's what I recommend. Do the physiological sigh 3 times in a row at these specific moments. First, when you wake up, before you check your phone. Second, before you eat any meal. Third, when you feel triggered, before you react to anything. Why these moments? Because mornings set the tone for your whole nervous system for the rest of the day. Meals are when your gut-brain connection is most active, and triggered moments are when cortisol is about to spike if you don't intervene. This is not meditation. This takes less than 30 seconds each time. No app needed, no special room needed, just your lungs. And here's what's beautiful. Over time, this trains your vagus nerve to be stronger. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the better it gets at pulling you into that safe ventral vagal state. Polyvagal research confirms that practices like rhythmic breathing, combined with consistent routines and relational safety, directly stabilize autonomic function. You are literally rewiring your biology, and we're just getting started. Step 2. Cold exposure. And I'm not saying you have to take ice baths like some social media guru. I'm talking about something much simpler. At the end of your normal shower, turn the water cold for the last 30 seconds. That's it, 30 seconds. Why does this work? Because cold water activates the vagus nerve intensely. Your body has to quickly shift from a stress response to a calm response. It's like a workout for your nervous system. Think of it like this. Every time you do it, it's like your nervous system is doing a push-up, getting a little bit stronger at returning to calm after a shock. I know it sounds uncomfortable, but discomfort is how your nervous system grows. The goal is not to eliminate all stress from your life. That's impossible. The goal is to build a nervous system that can handle stress and return to safety quickly. That's called resilience. And resilience is the foundation of stability. Now, let's move to something most people completely ignore when talking about safety. Step 3. Fix your gut. Remember, 90% or more of your serotonin is made in your digestive system. If your gut is inflamed, if your microbiome is weak, you are chemically unable to feel safe. Your body simply doesn't have the raw materials. So what do you eat? First, you need probiotic foods. These are foods that contain live, beneficial bacteria. Things like plain yogurt with no added sugar, fermented kimchi from a Korean grocery store, sauerkraut that your grandmother might have kept in a jar in her fridge, and kombucha, that fizzy tea drink you see at health food stores. Research published in Food Science and Nutrition showed that probiotics can increase serotonin levels in the gut and improve mood. Second, you need prebiotic foods. These feed the good bacteria. Things like garlic that you chop into your cooking, onions that make you cry when you slice them, bananas that are slightly green and not yet fully ripe, and oats that you can cook into a simple morning porridge. Third, you need foods high in tryptophan, the amino acid your body uses to make serotonin. Foods like turkey that many families eat at Thanksgiving, eggs that you can scramble in the morning, salmon that you can bake with a little lemon and salt, and nuts that you can keep in a small bag in your pocket for a snack. This is not a diet. This is a prescription for your nervous system. And just as importantly, Here's what you need to stop eating, or at least reduce. Processed sugar, highly processed packaged foods, excessive alcohol, and artificial sweeteners. These destroy your gut microbiome. They kill the good bacteria and feed the bad ones.
When your gut microbiome is out of balance, it's called dysbiosis. And research on the gut-brain axis has linked dysbiosis to increased activity in the HPA axis, your stress system, meaning a bad gut literally tells your brain to produce more cortisol, more stress, more anxiety, more instability, all from what you're putting on your plate. I know changing your diet sounds hard, but you don't have to be perfect. Start with one meal a day. Make one meal gut-friendly. Add some fermented food. Add some vegetables. Remove the processed stuff from that one meal. And do that for 30 days. Your gut bacteria begin to shift in just a few weeks. And when they shift, your mood shifts, your sense of safety shifts, because you're giving your body the chemistry it needs to feel okay. Let's keep going. Step 4. Fix your sleep. This is non-negotiable. Remember what we said earlier. One night of bad sleep increases your amygdala's fear response by 60%. Your emotional alarm goes into overdrive, and the connection between your rational brain and your emotional brain gets cut. So here's the sleep protocol. First, set a fixed wake-up time. Not a bedtime, a wake-up time. Same time every day, including weekends. This anchors your circadian rhythm. Your body needs consistency to know when to produce melatonin and when to produce cortisol. Second, stop all screens 60 minutes before bed. The blue light from your phone, laptop, and TV suppresses melatonin production. Instead, do things like read a physical paper book with a warm lamp on, have a quiet conversation with someone in your household, or write in a simple journal about 3 things that went okay during your day. Third, make your bedroom cold. Between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Your body temperature needs to drop to initiate deep sleep, and deep sleep is when your brain does its emotional repair work. Here's a simple rule to remember. 3-to-1. 3 hours before bed, no more food. 2 hours before bed, no more work. 1 hour before bed, no more screens. This gives your nervous system time to downshift from sympathetic mode to parasympathetic mode. Think of it like this. Eating a heavy meal 3 hours before bed is like revving a car engine right before you try to park it gently in a garage. Doing work emails 2 hours before bed is like asking your brain to solve a puzzle right before you ask it to power down. And scrolling through social media 1 hour before bed is like shining a flashlight directly into the eyes of someone trying to fall asleep. Follow this rule for just 1 week and notice what happens. You'll fall asleep faster. You'll stay asleep longer, and you'll wake up feeling less reactive, less anxious, and more emotionally stable. Because adequate sleep strengthens the connection between your prefrontal cortex and amygdala. It literally rebuilds the bridge between your rational mind and your emotional mind, every single night. Step 5. Build a financial safety net. I told you we'd get here, and I'm not going to tell you to invest in stocks or start a business. That comes later. Right now, we're talking about survival-level safety, because your nervous system needs to know that you can handle an emergency. Research published in the Journal of Cognitive Economics found that having an emergency fund significantly reduces financial anxiety, even when people still have debt. Just knowing the money is there changes how your brain processes stress. And about 75% of Americans who describe themselves as financially secure also report their mental well-being as excellent or very good. So here's the goal. Start with just $500, or whatever your local currency equivalent is. Put it in a separate account. Don't touch it. This is not savings for a vacation. This is your nervous system fund. This is money that tells your survival brain, we're okay, we can handle a surprise. And once you reach 500, build to 1,000, then to 1 month of expenses, then 3 months. Every dollar you add is a dose of safety for your biology. And here's the trick to making this easy. Automate it. Set up an automatic transfer from your main account to your emergency fund. Even if it's something as small as $5 every time you get paid,
or $20 at the start of each month, or whatever amount doesn't make you panic when you see it leave your account. Small, consistent, automatic.
Why automatic? Because willpower is a limited resource.
Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes good decisions, gets tired, especially when you're stressed. And when it's tired, you make impulsive choices. You spend money you shouldn't. You skip the transfer. Automation removes willpower from the equation. The money moves before your emotional brain can interfere. Studies on financial wellness show that individuals who feel in control of their finances report significantly better mental health outcomes. Control is the key word. You don't need to be rich to feel safe. You need to feel like you have some control, and automation gives you that control, even on your worst day. Step 6, and this one scares people, but it works. Track your spending for 30 days, every single thing. Write it down or use a free app. Don't judge yourself, just observe. Think about it like a doctor checking your blood pressure for the first time. The doctor doesn't yell at you for having high numbers. They just need to see the numbers so they know what to fix. That's what tracking your spending does for your financial health. It gives you data. And data reduces fear because it replaces the unknown with the known. A lot of financial anxiety comes from not knowing. Research on financial stress shows that uncertainty is one of the biggest contributors to financial anxiety. When you know exactly where your money goes, the anxiety drops. Not because you suddenly have more money, but because your brain is no longer filling the unknown with worst-case scenarios. Knowledge is safety. Write that down. Step 7. Build your social safety net. And I don't mean social media followers. I mean real human connection. Polyvagal theory is very clear on this. Social engagement is a fundamental biological need, not a luxury. Your nervous system was designed to co-regulate with other nervous systems. What does co-regulation mean? It means your nervous system actually calms down in the presence of a safe person. Research confirms that feelings of safety are supported through social engagements that have co-regulatory capacities. This is why babies stop crying when a calm parent holds them, and it doesn't stop in childhood. Adults still need co-regulation. It's wired into our biology. So ask yourself, do you have at least one person you can be honest with? One person whose voice makes your shoulders drop? One person who, when they walk into the room, something inside you relaxes. If you do, invest in that relationship. If you don't, building that connection becomes your most important project. Join a group, show up somewhere regularly, let people see you. Your nervous system cannot heal in isolation. Step 8. Design your environment for safety signals. Your nervous system is constantly scanning your surroundings. Remember, neuroception. So you can deliberately set up your environment to send safety cues to your brain. What are safety cues? Consistent routines, warm lighting, soft textures, familiar smells, gentle background sounds. Polyvagal-informed research suggests that predictability, rhythmicity, and relational warmth are the key environmental features that stabilize the autonomic nervous system. So instead of having harsh fluorescent lights blasting in your living room every evening, switch to warm lamps that give off a golden glow. Instead of falling asleep with the news channel playing stories about crime and disaster, play gentle ambient sounds or soft instrumental music. Instead of having a chaotic morning where you're rushing out the door with wet hair and no breakfast, wake up 20 minutes earlier and follow the same calm routine every day. These are not small things. To your nervous system, these are survival signals. They tell your body, this place is safe, this life is predictable, you can relax. Step 9. Move your body. Not to look good, not to lose weight, to regulate your nervous system. Research shows that regular physical activity helps regulate the autonomic nervous system and promotes balanced emotional states. And it doesn't have to be intense. Walking for 20 minutes a day is enough to start shifting your baseline cortisol levels. The key is consistency, not intensity. A daily walk does more for your nervous system than one extreme gym session followed by a week on the couch.
And here's a bonus. Exercise increases tryptophan availability in your bloodstream. Remember, that's the amino acid your body uses to make serotonin. When you exercise, your body reduces other amino acids that compete with tryptophan, making it easier for tryptophan to reach the brain. That's why you feel good after a walk. It's not just endorphins, it's serotonin. It's your gut-brain axis activating. It's your vagus nerve getting stimulated. Movement is medicine, free medicine. And if possible, walk outside, in nature, in sunlight. Sunlight exposure helps your body produce both serotonin and vitamin D. And vitamin D deficiency has been linked to depression and anxiety in multiple studies. You don't need a supplement if you're getting 15 to 20 minutes of morning sunlight. Imagine this. You wake up, do your 3 physiological sighs before touching your phone, make a simple breakfast with scrambled eggs and some oats, and then step outside for a 20-minute walk while the sun is still low in the sky. In that 1 hour, you've stimulated your vagus nerve, fed your gut microbiome, exposed your eyes to natural light, and moved your body. That's 4 stability-building actions before most people even check their email. Sounds too simple, right? That's because the most powerful things are simple. The hard part isn't complexity. The hard part is consistency. Anyone can do this for 1 day. The question is, can you do it for 90 days? Because at 90 days, these aren't habits anymore. They're your identity, and your nervous system has physically changed. Step 10. Practice mindfulness. And before you roll your eyes, I'm not talking about sitting cross-legged on a mountain chanting Om. I'm talking about awareness, simply noticing your internal state. Research on polyvagal theory confirms that the first step to regulation is recognizing which state you're in. Are you calm, activated, or shut down? This is called interoception, your ability to sense what's happening inside your body. Do you feel tension in your jaw right now? Is your breathing shallow or deep? Are your shoulders creeping up toward your ears like they're trying to touch them? These are data points. They're your nervous system telling you what state it's in. When you start noticing these signals, you gain the power to intervene before a full stress response takes over. Instead of snapping at your partner because you're exhausted and didn't realize it, you catch the tension in your shoulders first and take a breath. Instead of spiraling into panic about a bill that arrived in the mail, you notice your chest tightening and do your physiological sigh. That's mindfulness. Practical, real, and it changes everything. Here's a simple daily practice. Once a day, ideally before bed, do a 5-minute body scan. Lie down, close your eyes. Start at the top of your head. Move your attention slowly down through your face, neck, shoulders, chest, belly, hips, legs, and feet. Just notice. Don't try to fix anything. Don't try to relax. Just observe. What this does is strengthen your interoceptive pathways. Over time, you become more sensitive to your nervous system's signals. You catch stress earlier. You catch dysregulation faster. And you intervene before it becomes a crisis. Research supports that practices which support interoception promote vagal tone and help recalibrate neuroception. And listen, this is the secret that separates people who feel safe from people who don't. Safe people aren't people who have no stress. They're people who catch their stress early and know how to return to calm. That skill, the ability to return to calm, is the entire game. Everything I'm teaching you is building that muscle. Step 11. Set boundaries. Oh, this one is big. Because every time you say yes to something that drains you, your nervous system registers it as a threat. Every time you tolerate disrespect, your cortisol goes up. Every time you overcommit, your body goes into survival mode. Boundaries are not mean. Boundaries are biological. They are your nervous system saying, this is safe and this is not safe. And when you honor those signals by setting clear limits, your body rewards you with calm, with stability, with a feeling of being in control. Start small. Maybe it's telling a coworker that you can't stay late tonight because you have a commitment to yourself.
Maybe it's telling a family member that you need 30 minutes of quiet time after work before you're ready to talk. Maybe it's putting your phone on Do Not Disturb after 9 p.m. so that nobody can pull you out of your evening routine. Each boundary you set is a signal to your nervous system. I am protecting this body. I am keeping this body safe. And over time, that signal becomes your default state. And let me make this very clear. No is a complete sentence. You don't always need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify why you're not available. You don't need to apologize for prioritizing your well-being. The guilt you feel when you say no? That's your old programming. That's a nervous system that was trained to seek safety through pleasing others. But real safety doesn't come from making everyone else comfortable at your expense. Real safety comes from knowing that you are the protector of your own nervous system. You are the guardian. And a guardian doesn't leave the gates open for anyone to walk through. This is not about being cold or selfish. It's about sustainability. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And if your cortisol is constantly high because you can't say no, you will burn out. Your immune system will weaken. Your sleep will suffer. Your relationships will suffer. Everything will suffer. Say no, mean it, and watch your nervous system thank you. Step 12. Reduce your news consumption. I'm serious. The 24-hour news cycle is designed to trigger your amygdala. Every headline is crafted to make you feel scared, angry, or outraged. Because fear sells. Fear gets clicks. Fear keeps you scrolling. But every time you consume fear-based content, your nervous system responds as if the threat is real and immediate. It doesn't matter if the event happened 3,000 miles away in a country you've never visited. Your amygdala can't tell the difference between a threat on your screen and a threat in your living room. Your HPA axis activates, cortisol rises, and you feel a little more unsafe, a little more unstable, without even knowing why. Here's what I recommend. Check the news once a day, for no more than 15 minutes, in the middle of the day. Not in the morning, because it sets a negative tone. Not at night, because it disrupts your sleep. Get informed, then get out. Your nervous system will thank you, and you will be shocked at how much calmer you feel within just 1 week. And while we're on the topic, do a weekly digital detox. 1 day per week, reduce your screen time to the absolute minimum. No social media, no doom scrolling, no just checking your phone every 5 minutes. Use that time to do things your nervous system actually loves, like cooking a meal while listening to music, sitting in a park watching birds do their thing without any agenda, calling an old friend you haven't talked to in months and just catching up, or reading a book that has actual paper pages you can fold and flip. These activities activate your ventral vagal system, the safe, connected, socially engaged state. Think of your phone as a cortisol dispenser. Every notification is a tiny jolt of stress. Every comparison on social media is a tiny jolt of inadequacy. And those tiny jolts add up, over a day, over a week, over a year. They reshape your nervous system. They make you feel more unsafe without any obvious big reason. The digital detox interrupts that pattern. It gives your nervous system a vacation, and everyone deserves a vacation. Step 13. Start journaling. And I don't mean writing poetry or Dear Diary entries. I mean processing your internal world on paper. When thoughts stay inside your head, they loop. They get louder. They feel bigger than they actually are. But when you write them down, something magical happens. Your prefrontal cortex engages. The act of putting words to feelings activates the language centers in your brain, which are connected to your regulatory centers. You are literally taming your amygdala by naming what you feel. Here are 3 prompts to use every evening. 1. What triggered me today? 2. What did my body feel when it happened? 3. What would I tell a close friend if they had the same experience? These 3 questions take your internal experience from chaos to clarity. And clarity is safety. When you understand what's happening inside you, you no longer feel like a passenger in your own body. You feel like the driver. Step 14. Practice gratitude. But not the fake surface-level kind. Real gratitude. Specific gratitude. Embodied gratitude. Not just thinking, I'm grateful for my health, like a robot reciting a script, but actually pausing, closing your eyes, and feeling the warmth in your chest when you remember the specific moment your friend surprised you by dropping off soup when you were sick last month. Why does this matter for safety? Because your brain has a negativity bias. It evolved to focus on threats, on dangers, on what could go wrong. Gratitude is the antidote. It trains your brain to also notice what's going right, what's working, what's stable, what's safe. And research shows that regular gratitude practice physically changes brain structure over time, strengthening neural pathways associated with positive emotion and dampening pathways associated with threat detection. Write down 3 specific things you're grateful for every night. Not general, specific. Not, I'm grateful for my family, but I'm grateful my daughter laughed at dinner tonight when she tried to tell a joke and got the punchline wrong. That level of specificity is what rewires the brain. Do it every night. Watch what happens after 30 days. Now, we're at the halfway point, and I want to say something important. Everything I've taught you so far is a tool. Breathing, gut health, sleep, finances, boundaries, movement. But tools only work if you identify as someone who uses them. This is the identity shift. You must go from, I'm a stressed person trying to be calm, to, I am a calm person who sometimes experiences stress. Do you hear the difference? The first one puts stress at the center. The second one puts safety at the center. And your nervous system follows your identity. This is the real secret. Your body follows your story. If your story is, I'm broken, or I'm always anxious, or life is never safe, your nervous system will organize itself around that belief. But if your story is, I am building stability, or I am learning to return to calm, or my nervous system is getting stronger every day, your body organizes around that. Words matter. The story you tell yourself about yourself, it's not just psychology, it's neurology. It literally shapes how your brain fires. So choose your story carefully. Let's build your morning safety ritual. This is a non-negotiable 30-minute routine that sets the foundation for your entire day. And every element is based on what we've already learned. Wake up. Do your 3 physiological sighs immediately, before anything else. Then drink a full glass of water. Your body is dehydrated after 8 hours of sleep. Dehydration is a stressor. Cortisol goes up when you're dehydrated. Then eat a gut-friendly breakfast. Scrambled eggs with a sprinkle of turmeric, a small bowl of oatmeal topped with a few walnuts and a sliced banana, and a cup of green tea instead of rushing to the coffee machine and dumping sugar in a paper cup. Then go outside for 10 to 15 minutes. Walk, get sunlight, breathe fresh air. By the time you come back inside, you've done 5 stability-building things: nervous system regulation, hydration, gut nourishment, sunlight exposure, physical movement. 5 things in 30 minutes, and your day hasn't even really started yet. This is how you build a life that feels stable, one morning at a time. And at the other end of the day, your evening wind-down ritual, starting 90 minutes before your target bedtime. Remember the 3-2-1 rule. No food 3 hours before bed, no work 2 hours before bed, no screens 1 hour before bed. In that final hour, do your body scan. Write in your journal what triggered you, what your body felt, and what you'd tell a friend. Write your 3 specific gratitude entries. Then do 3 more physiological sighs as you lie in bed. Lights off, room cool, phone in another room or on airplane mode. This ritual tells your nervous system, the day is done. I am safe. I can let go. And over time, your body anticipates this ritual. It begins to calm down even before you start it. That's the power of consistency. That's the power of routine. Your nervous system craves predictability. Give it what it craves, and it rewards you with stability. Once per week, do a safety audit. This takes 15 minutes. Sit down with your journal and answer 5 questions. 1. How is my sleep this week? 2. How is my gut feeling? 3. Where did my money go? 4. Did I honor my boundaries? 5. Who did I connect with? These 5 areas, sleep, gut, finances, boundaries, and social connection, are the 5 pillars of feeling stable and safe. If one pillar is crumbling, the whole structure wobbles. The weekly audit helps you catch problems early before they become crises. And here's a tip. Don't grade yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just observe. Sleep was bad on Tuesday and Wednesday. Gut was okay. Spent more than planned on Thursday. Said yes to something I should have declined. Had a great phone call with my sister on Saturday. That's it. Just data. Data lets you adjust. Data lets you improve. Data gives you control. And control is safety. Step 15. If you have experienced trauma, whether it's childhood, relational, financial, or any kind, please consider professional support. Polyvagal informed therapy is specifically designed to work with the nervous system, not just the mind. Research confirms that individuals with severe adversity histories may have nervous systems that are retuned to be locked in states of defense. That means no matter how many breathing exercises or morning routines you do, your baseline might be stuck in survival mode, and you need professional help to reset it. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. A good therapist who understands the nervous system can help you identify your triggers, understand your body's defensive patterns, and gradually expand your capacity for safety. Think of it like a mechanic for your nervous system. You wouldn't try to rebuild a car engine using a YouTube video alone, and sometimes your nervous system needs that same level of expert, hands-on attention. If you can afford it, invest in it. It is the highest return investment you will ever make. Here's something powerful. A lot of your feelings of unsafety come from the past, from things that happened to you when you were young, when your nervous system was still developing, and those early experiences shaped how your nervous system responds today. But here's the good news. Neuroscience shows that the brain retains significant plasticity throughout life. The changes caused by chronic stress can often be reversed. Dendritic connections can regrow. New neurons can be born. The hippocampus can recover volume. Your brain is not permanently broken by your past. Reframing doesn't mean pretending bad things didn't happen. It means looking at your past through a new lens. That experience was terrible, and I survived it. And my nervous system did what it needed to do to keep me alive. And now, I have the tools to teach my body that the danger is over. That "and" is important. It holds both realities, the pain and the possibility. That is mature, integrated thinking, and it's the foundation of true stability. Let's add more vagus nerve exercises to your toolkit. Beyond breathing and cold exposure, here are 3 more ways to stimulate your vagus nerve. First, humming or singing. The vagus nerve passes through your throat. When you hum or sing, the vibrations directly stimulate it. Second, gargling. Gargle water vigorously for 30 seconds. This activates the muscles in the back of your throat that are connected to the vagal pathway. Do it every morning when you brush your teeth. It sounds strange, but the science is sound. Third, gentle yoga poses. The Polyvagal Institute notes that certain yoga poses can stimulate the vagus nerve and promote relaxation and emotional regulation. You don't need to be flexible or experienced. Simple poses like child's pose and bridge pose are enough. Imagine yourself lying on the floor, knees bent, slowly lifting your hips toward the ceiling in a bridge while breathing deeply. That simple movement is a direct conversation with your vagus nerve. Do these exercises daily, and you build what scientists call vagal tone. Higher vagal tone means faster return to calm. That is stability. Let's go deeper on social media. Because this is a stability killer that we need to address head-on. Every time you scroll and see someone's highlight reel, their vacation, their body, their relationship, their car, your brain does an unconscious comparison. And if you come up short in that comparison, cortisol spikes. The algorithm is designed to show you content that triggers strong emotional reactions: fear, envy, outrage. desire. These emotions keep you scrolling, and every minute you scroll, your nervous system is being bathed in low-level stress signals, over hours, over days, over years. This reshapes your baseline. So here's what to do. Unfollow any account that makes you feel worse after viewing it. Set app timers. Give yourself a hard limit of 20 minutes a day, and when the timer goes off, put the phone face down on the table and walk away. Use social media with intention to connect with friends, learn something useful, or find inspiration. But the moment it becomes mindless scrolling, you're feeding your amygdala and starving your prefrontal cortex. Stop the scroll. Protect your nervous system. Here's something simple that almost everyone overlooks: water. Dehydration increases cortisol production. When your body is low on water, it perceives it as a threat, and it responds accordingly. Heart rate goes up, focus goes down, anxiety creeps in. Aim for half your body weight in ounces per day. So if you weigh 160 pounds, that's roughly 80 ounces of water a day, which is about 5 standard water bottles, or roughly 10 normal-sized glasses of water spread throughout your day from morning to evening. Carry a water bottle with you everywhere, and drink a full glass first thing in the morning, before coffee, before food, before anything. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but small physiological stressors compound. Dehydration plus poor sleep plus bad food plus financial stress plus social isolation, each one is a brick, and together they build a wall between you and safety. Remove the easy bricks first. Water is the easiest brick to remove. Start there. Step 16. Examine your caffeine intake. Caffeine is a stimulant that activates your sympathetic nervous system. It increases heart rate, raises cortisol, and can mimic the physical sensations of anxiety. For some people, that morning coffee is literally triggering a mild fight-or-flight response. I'm not saying quit coffee entirely, but if you struggle with anxiety or feeling unsafe, try reducing your intake. Switch to green tea, which contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes calm while providing gentle energy. Or at least push your first cup to 90 minutes after waking, so your natural cortisol awakening response can peak first. Think about it. If you drink 3 cups of coffee by noon and then wonder why you feel jittery and on edge during a meeting at 2 p.m., you're not having an anxiety attack. You're having a caffeine attack. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between caffeine jitters and actual danger. Respect your biology. Give it less to fight against. We keep coming back to this word, routine. And there's a reason. Your nervous system feels safest when life is predictable, when it knows what's coming next, when there are no constant surprises. Polyvagal research specifically identifies predictability and rhythmicity as neurobiological imperatives for feeling safe. This doesn't mean your life has to be boring. It means your foundations should be stable. Your morning can look the same. Wake up, breathe, hydrate, eat, walk. Even if your afternoon is unpredictable because you work in a job where every day brings something different. Your evening can be consistent. Journal, body scan, gratitude, sleep. Even if your social life changes week to week. Think of routines as the walls of your house. The furniture inside can change. You can rearrange it however you want. But the walls? The walls stay. The walls provide structure, and structure is what makes a house feel like a home. Build your routines. Protect them fiercely. They are the architecture of your stability. We talked about saying no. Now let's talk about saying yes, strategically. Not every yes is equal. Some yeses add energy to your life. Some yeses drain it. And your nervous system knows the difference, even if your mind doesn't. Before you say yes to anything, ask yourself this question. Will this bring me closer to safety or further from it? That's it. One question. Will staying late at work to help on a project that isn't mine bring me closer to safety or further from it? Will going to this social event where I don't know anyone but my friend asked me to come bring me closer to safety or further from it? Will lending this money I can barely afford bring me closer to safety or further from it? Some yeses are investments. They build connection, trust, or opportunity. Those yeses are good. But some yeses are leaks. They drain your time, energy, or money without giving anything back. Those yeses are threats disguised as kindness. Learn to tell the difference. Your stability depends on it. Step 17. Spend time in nature. This one is backed by so much science. Green spaces reduce cortisol. Birdsong activates the ventral vagal system. Natural light regulates circadian rhythm. Fresh air improves oxygen flow to the brain. And the absence of artificial stimulation gives your nervous system a rest. You don't need to hike a mountain or camp in a forest. Just sit in a park, walk by a river, stand under a tree. Even having a plant in your room helps. The point is to expose your senses to the natural world, the world your nervous system was designed to live in. We forget sometimes, human beings did not evolve in concrete boxes staring at glowing rectangles. We evolved in open landscapes, near water, surrounded by green. And when we return to those environments, even briefly, our nervous system recognizes it. It says, "Oh, I remember this is safe." Give yourself nature. It's free, it's everywhere, and it heals things that nothing else can. Step 18. Find a creative outlet. Drawing, writing, music, cooking, building, anything that lets you express what's inside without having to explain it. Creativity engages the prefrontal cortex, activates the ventral vagal state, and provides a healthy channel for emotional energy. When you're stressed, your body is full of energy that needs to go somewhere. If it doesn't go into creation, it goes into destruction, anger, binge eating, overworking, substance use, arguments. Creativity redirects that energy. It transforms it into something meaningful. You don't have to be talented. This isn't about making a masterpiece. It's about the act of making. A grown man sitting at his kitchen table at midnight, sculpting clay with his hands while listening to music. That man is healing. A woman writing messy, imperfect poems in a notebook that nobody will ever read. She is healing. A teenager learning 3 chords on a guitar and playing the same song over and over until it sounds right. That teenager is building neural pathways of safety. Create something, anything, daily if possible. Step 19. Practice forgiveness. And I need to be very clear about what forgiveness is and what it isn't. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was okay. It is not excusing bad behavior. It is not letting someone back into your life. Forgiveness is putting down a weight that was never yours to carry. It is telling your nervous system, this threat is over. I don't need to keep defending against it. I can let go. Holding on to anger and resentment keeps your body in a chronic state of defense. Your cortisol stays elevated. Your amygdala stays hyperactive. Your sleep suffers. Your digestion suffers. Everything suffers. Forgiveness is a selfish act, in the best way. You do it for your nervous system, for your peace, for your stability. Think of it like holding a burning coal in your hand and waiting for the other person to feel the pain. They don't. Only you are burning. Put the coal down, not for them, for you. Step 20. Develop self-compassion. This is different from self-esteem. Self-esteem says, I'm great. Self-compassion says, I'm struggling, and that's okay. One requires you to be on top. The other allows you to be human. When you make a mistake, when you break your routine, when you snap at someone, when you eat badly, when you skip the gym, when you overspend, your first response matters enormously. If your first response is harsh self-criticism, cortisol spikes. Your nervous system interprets your own inner voice as a threat. But if your first response is, I'm having a hard moment, this is part of being human, what can I do next that's helpful? Your nervous system relaxes. You stay in the ventral vagal state. You maintain access to your prefrontal cortex. You make better decisions. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a 5-year-old version of you who just dropped their ice cream cone on the ground and is crying. With warmth, with patience, with gentle encouragement. That voice is the voice of safety. Learn to use it. Practice it daily. It changes everything. Back to finances. Step 21. If you have debt, create a simple debt reduction plan. Not complicated, simple. List all your debts, smallest to largest. Pay the minimum on everything, but throw any extra money at the smallest one first. This is called the debt snowball method. And the reason it works is not mathematical, it's psychological. When you pay off that first small debt, your brain gets a hit of dopamine, a win, a proof that change is possible. And that feeling of progress reduces financial anxiety, which reduces cortisol, which makes you feel more stable. Remember, 46% of people with debt also have a mental health diagnosis. Your debt is not just a financial problem, it is a nervous system problem. Every debt you eliminate is a weight off your biology, not just your bank account. Attack the smallest one first. Get that win. Then the next. Then the next. Momentum is powerful medicine. Step 22. Think about your income stability. Not just how much you make, but how predictable it is. Research from the American Psychiatric Association found that precarious employment is associated with increased rates of depression and anxiety. If your income is unpredictable, your nervous system is in a constant state of low-level threat. It never fully relaxes because it can never fully plan. So if you can, look for ways to create at least one stream of stable, predictable income, even if it's part-time, even if it's modest. And here's something people don't consider. Predictability of income matters more for nervous system safety than the size of the income. Someone making a modest but steady monthly salary who knows exactly what's coming in every 2 weeks will often feel more stable than someone making twice as much but never knowing if next month's check will arrive. Stability over size. Consistency over chaos. Your nervous system doesn't care about luxury. It cares about certainty. Let me introduce a concept called the safety container. This is the total environment of safety you're building. It has 5 walls. Physical safety, your body, sleep, food, movement. Emotional safety, boundaries, self-compassion, therapy. Financial safety, emergency fund, debt plan, spending awareness. Social safety, trusted relationships, co-regulation. Mental safety, mindfulness, journaling, gratitude. When all 5 walls are up, you have a container. A space where your nervous system can rest, where it can drop its guard, where healing actually happens. Because healing cannot happen in a state of threat. Your body will not repair itself while it's defending itself. Right now, honestly ask yourself, which wall is the weakest? Which one needs the most attention? Focus there, not on everything at once, just the weakest wall. Build that up, then move to the next, one wall at a time, until your container is strong enough to hold you through anything life throws. Step 23. Create a long-term vision. Your nervous system feels safer when it believes the future is going to be okay. Not perfect, just okay. And having a clear direction, even a rough one, provides that sense of okayness. Write down where you want to be in 1 year. Not in detail, just the feeling. In 1 year, I want to feel calm when I wake up instead of dreading the day. I want to have $3,000 saved instead of 0. I want to sleep 7 hours a night instead of 5. I want to have at least 2 people I can truly call and talk to about anything. That is a vision. Simple, feeling-based, achievable. And when your nervous system has a direction to move toward, it stops spinning in circles. It stops catastrophizing about everything that could go wrong. It starts organizing your energy toward building something real. Vision gives anxiety a job, and anxiety with a job becomes motivation. Step 24. Establish a weekly connection ritual. Every week, have at least one meaningful interaction with another human being. Not texting, not liking a post, real connection. A phone call, a meal together, a walk with a friend. Remember what we learned. Your nervous system was designed to co-regulate with other safe humans. Isolation is a threat signal. Connection is a safety signal. Even one real conversation per week can significantly shift your baseline nervous system state. Put it on your calendar. Make it sacred. Maybe it's every Sunday morning you call your mother or father while making coffee. Maybe it's every Wednesday evening you meet a friend at a quiet restaurant and talk about life. Maybe it's every Friday night you sit with your partner on the couch with no screens on and just talk. Schedule it. Because if you don't schedule it, life will fill that space with something else, something less nourishing, something that doesn't rebuild your sense of safety. Protect this time. It is medicine. Step 25. Keep learning. When you learn new skills, your prefrontal cortex strengthens. You feel more competent. And competence creates a sense of control. And control, say it with me, is safety. It doesn't matter what you learn. It could be learning to cook a new recipe from a cookbook you found at a used bookstore, studying a new language using a free app on your phone for 15 minutes a day, or teaching yourself basic home repairs by watching tutorial videos so you stop feeling helpless every time something breaks. Any new skill tells your nervous system, I am capable. I can handle things. I am growing. And here's the beautiful part. Learning something new literally creates new neural connections in your brain. It increases brain plasticity. Research on the brain confirms that positive experiences can promote neuronal growth and reverse some of the damage caused by chronic stress. So learning isn't just about the skill itself, it's about rebuilding your brain's capacity for resilience and calm. Now let's prepare for the bad days, because they will come. No matter how good your routines are, life will sometimes knock you sideways. And in those moments, you need an emergency calm plan. Written down, memorized, ready to go. Here's mine. You can adapt it. Step 1. 3 physiological sighs. Immediate nervous system intervention. Step 2. Put one hand on my chest, one hand on my belly. Feel my heartbeat. Ground myself in my body, not my thoughts. Step 3. Say out loud, I am safe in this moment. This feeling will pass. Step 4. Move, walk, stretch, anything to discharge the stress energy. Step 5. Contact my safe person. Even just a text that says, having a rough one. Connection activates the ventral vagal system. That's it. 5 steps. Takes less than 5 minutes. Print it out. Put it on your fridge. Put it in your wallet. Put it as a note in your phone. Because when you're in a crisis, your prefrontal cortex goes offline. You can't think your way through it. You need a plan. And having that plan is safety. Step 26. Accept that some days will be hard, that you will not always feel stable, that anxiety will visit again, that fear will knock on your door. This is not failure. This is being human. The goal was never to eliminate all negative emotions. That's not possible. And frankly, it wouldn't even be healthy. Fear protects you. Anger motivates you. Sadness heals you. These emotions have purpose. The goal is to feel them without being consumed by them, to experience the wave without drowning in it. Acceptance is one of the most powerful stability tools. When you accept that life includes suffering, you stop fighting reality. And fighting reality is exhausting. It burns cortisol. It burns energy. It burns you out. But acceptance? Acceptance says, this is hard, and I have the tools to move through it, and it will not last forever. That is stable. That is safe. That is strong. Step 27. Get regular physical health checkups, because sometimes the anxiety and instability you feel has a physical cause that needs medical attention. Thyroid problems can cause anxiety. Vitamin deficiencies can cause depression. Hormone imbalances can cause mood swings. Gut issues can cause brain fog. Don't guess. Get your blood work done. Check your thyroid. Check your vitamin D, B12, iron, and magnesium levels. Check your gut health. These are measurable, fixable things, and fixing them can dramatically change how safe and stable you feel. Think about it. You could be doing every single thing in this video perfectly, and if your thyroid is underactive or your vitamin D is in the basement, you'll still feel off. It would be like trying to drive a car with a perfect GPS and a full tank of gas, but a flat tire. The tire needs to be fixed first. Get checked. Rule out the physical causes, then build on a solid foundation. Step 28. Find a spiritual or philosophical anchor. Now, this doesn't have to be religious. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. What I mean is, find a framework that gives your life meaning beyond survival. Because humans don't just need to feel safe, they need to feel that their safety matters, that their life has purpose. Polyvagal research suggests that when we feel safe, we gain access to higher brain functions including creativity, aesthetics, and even spirituality. Safety unlocks these experiences, and these experiences in turn reinforce safety. It's a positive spiral. Whether it's Buddhism, Stoicism, Christianity, Islam, meditation, philosophy, or simply a deep commitment to being a good parent, find something bigger than your daily worries, something that holds you when everything else shakes. An anchor doesn't prevent storms, but it keeps you from drifting. Find your anchor. Hold on to it. Step 29. Seek community. Beyond individual relationships, belonging to a group provides an extra layer of safety. A fitness class, a religious congregation, a book club, a volunteer organization, a support group. Anything where you show up regularly and are seen and recognized. Belonging tells your nervous system, there are people who would notice if I disappeared. I matter to a group. I am part of something. And that feeling of being part of something is deeply calming to the survival brain. It says, I am not alone in this world. Loneliness is one of the greatest threats to human health. It increases cortisol, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of early death. Finding community is not a luxury. It is a biological need, as fundamental as food and water. Find your people, and once you find them, show up consistently. That consistency is what builds trust, and trust is the soil where safety grows. Okay, every 90 days, do a deep review. Pull out your journal, look at where you were 90 days ago and where you are now. How is your sleep? How is your gut? How is your nervous system? How is your financial cushion? How are your relationships? How is your emotional regulation? You will be amazed at the progress you've made. Not because any single change was dramatic, but because small, consistent changes compound. Like interest in a savings account. 1% better every day doesn't look like much, but after 90 days, you're a different person, a more stable person, a safer person, from the inside out. Celebrate your progress, not with material rewards, with acknowledgement. Tell yourself, I did that. I built that. I am building a life that feels safe. And then, set your targets for the next 90 days. What wall of your safety container needs work? What pillar needs strengthening? Keep building, forever, because stability isn't a destination, it's a practice. Step 30. Once you've built your own stability, teach it to someone else. A child, a friend, a partner, a stranger on the internet. Because when you teach these principles, you reinforce them in your own nervous system. Teaching is the deepest form of learning. And more than that, you become a co-regulator for others. Remember, humans are designed to calm each other's nervous systems. When you are stable, your stability becomes a signal of safety for the people around you. Your calm voice, your steady presence, your regulated body. These are gifts you give to everyone in your life. Imagine raising a child who understands their nervous system, who knows about the gut-brain axis, who can do a physiological sigh when they're upset instead of throwing a tantrum, who grows up knowing what safety feels like in their body. That child will become an adult who doesn't need to read articles about how to feel stable. They'll already know. You have the power to break generational cycles of instability, right here, right now, with everything you've learned today. Let's bring it all together. Here's your complete course in one place. Breathe. Physiological sighs 3 times at key moments. Feed your gut. Probiotics, prebiotics, tryptophan-rich foods. Sleep. Fixed wake time, 3-2-1 rule, cold, dark room. Move. 20 minutes daily, preferably outside in nature. Hydrate. Half your body weight in ounces daily. Build financial safety. Emergency fund, automate savings, track spending, reduce debt. Set boundaries. Say no to drains. Say yes to gains. Connect. Weekly meaningful interactions. Build community. Find co-regulation. Practice awareness. Journal, body scan, gratitude, mindfulness. Seek help. Therapy if needed. Health checkups, professional guidance. Design your environment. Warm lighting, consistent routines, reduced screens and news. Find meaning. Spiritual anchor, creative outlet, long-term vision. Accept imperfection. Some days will be hard, and that's okay. And teach others, because sharing this knowledge multiplies safety in the world. That is your complete course. Free, yours forever. Now go build a life that feels stable and safe, from the inside out. I want to leave you with this. Right now, wherever you are alive. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are filling. Your nervous system, even if it's been through hell, is still working to protect you. It has never stopped fighting for you. Not for 1 second. Everything you've felt, the anxiety, the fear, the instability, was your body trying to keep you safe. It wasn't broken. It was doing its job. But now, you have new tools, better strategies, a deeper understanding of how your body works. And with that understanding comes the power to change. Not overnight, but day by day, breath by breath, meal by meal, sleep by sleep. You deserve to feel safe, not because you've earned it, not because you're perfect, but because you're here, because safety is a biological right. And now you have the blueprint to build it. So build it, starting today, starting with your next breath. I believe in you. Now go and be safe.